Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jordan, and today I'm going to be picking out my February TBR with the help of my Tbr game. So I actually came up with my reading game last year after being inspired by tons of different versions of TBR games. I absolutely love watching other people's TBR videos, and the games that they've come up with are just so creative. But for me personally, I wanted something simple that wasn't going to be too complicated. So basically what I did was just come up with my own version of almost like a Candyland kind of game, but based on books and reading. So as you can see, there's different colored squares that each stand for a different genre of book. Purple is mystery, thriller, or horror. Yellow are classics, historical fiction, or contemporary. Orange are graphic novels or manga. Blue is nonfiction or poetry. Pink are YA or middle grade. And then finally, green is either sci-fi or fantasy. And then the squares that have these black dots are ones that I have to pick a prompt out of my prompt mug. Basically, I came up with a bunch of different prompts and just wrote them down and shoved them in this mug. And if I land on a square that has a black dot, I have to pick out of here. If I land on a square with an arrow, I have to go backwards or forwards to whatever square it tells me to. And then these multicolored striped ones, basically if I land there, I get to pick out whatever I want to read. So once I get to the end, I get one of these book bucks, which basically I can either use to help me fulfill a prompt that I've gotten during this game, or I can save them for later. So basically it's just a way of me trying to read more of my physical TBR instead of going out and buying a ton of books. Alright, so I think I've pretty much got all the rules basically explained, so let's go ahead and start the game. Alright, so we've got everything set up. So before I start, I'm going to go ahead and roll a d8 to see how many books I have to read this month. Alright, so we got a 5, so we're moving 5 spaces. So then after I roll my d8, I will go ahead and roll my d12 to see how many spaces I get to move. So this is roll number 1, 8. Alright, that's yellow, so that is a classic, historical fiction, or contemporary. Alright, so the first book I had to pick was yellow, which means either a classic, historical fiction, or contemporary book. And for this one, I picked American Pop by Snowden, Wright. So basically this guy builds an empire with his soda company. Basically kind of sounds like Coca-Cola. But anyway, I think this book follows him and his family and being born into nothing and coming out a successful businessman. So I'm really interested to see what this one is about. Alright, let's go for roll number 2. Alright, that's 10. Alright, and pink is either YA or middle grade. Alright, so our second roll was pink, which means either a YA or middle grade book. So for this one, I picked Peter Nimble and His Fantastic Eyes by Jonathan Auxier. Honestly, I kind of just fell in love with the cover. Like, you can kind of see the gold shiny letters on it, and just the illustrations look so great. So basically Peter is a blind orphan who's been trained in thievery, and he comes across these different magical eyes that I think are going to help him and basically following his adventure. So this looks really cute, and I can't wait to get into this one. Alright, and here we go for roll number 3. 2. 2, so I get to go here. Alright, so that's a green with a dot, which means it's a sci-fi or fantasy, but it also means that I have to pull a prompt out of the mug. Alright, let's go ahead and pick one out. Alright, and so book number 3, I have to read a sci-fi or fantasy with red on the cover. Alright, so the next one was green, which is either a sci-fi or a fantasy, and this one I picked the prompt that it has to have red on the cover. So for this one, I picked Daughter of the Pirate King. Honestly, this has been all over Book Talk. I've seen it all over Instagram too, and the plot just sounds really interesting, and hopefully I will enjoy this one. I'm really looking forward to picking this one up. Alright, that was book number 3. Here is book number 4. 8. Alright, yellow, that is another classic, historical fiction, or contemporary. Alright, and then for our 4th roll, I got yellow again, which is another classic, historical fiction, or contemporary. And for this one, I picked Selected Stories by Saki. Honestly, not too sure what this one is about. I was gifted this for Christmas, but I think basically it's supposed to be like kind of macabre, dark kind of tales. And it was highly recommended by the person who gave it to me, so I'm really looking forward to this one, and I can't wait to see what this one is about. Alright, and here is our final roll of the game. 2. Alright, so blue is either nonfiction or poetry. Alright, and for our final roll, we got blue, which is either nonfiction or poetry. And for this one, I picked The Powerful Purpose of Introverts by Holley Gerth. Last year, I read Quiet, which was one of my favorite books of the year. And being an introvert, I feel like it really helped me a lot. So I'm hoping this one is just as good. It's not too long, so I think it'll be good to help balance out the other books that I have this month. Alright, so that is my TBR for February. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you guys in the next one.